Hello and welcome, or welcome back everybody to the channel. My name is Dina with Impressive Warrior. I see that I'm playing a little bit of tag with the lighting here. I'm kind of going in and out of the darkness, so it is what it is. It was raining outside again today, and by the time I got everything together, it's no longer raining, and so it's bright outside and it's going to mess with the lighting. So hopefully that won't interfere with your ability to enjoy today's message. So I did come in with some pre-messages yesterday. Most of the videos for the zodiac signs started uploading those. I recorded a few days ago. And one of the things that was coming to mind this morning was one of the cards that came out in, I think, 3 or 4 different readings. It's the Gift of Neutrality from this Whispers of the Ocean Oracle deck, 34 here. And it says balance is at work in your life. Yin and yang are opposite in their energy, but reside side by side to create the gift of neutrality. One of the extended messages that's coming through to act as an entry point to today's message is about this ability to, whether or not we can perceive below the surface when we're looking at a situation. Well, let me get to the point first. It was all about optics, and the way that things look is not always the way that they are. And so it was coming through with a lot of everything in the world appears to be chaotic right now. We've got deeper divides than many times in the past because people are just openly just shouting at each other in forums and in communities where this would have been ridiculous behavior at any other time, and it's ridiculous now. And so I want to suggest that we are potentially getting many lessons out of this time here, where we're recognizing the things that get us riled up and the way that our energy can kind of be hijacked. That's how it was coming through, is the optics of situations getting us extremely aggravated or disappointed or sad or fearful or self-doubting or fill in the blank. And so this gift of neutrality here is things are coming to our attention so that we can understand and follow the different motivations back down. Like, what is our true quest for the bigger, better vehicle, for instance, just as an easy example? Is it because we think that there's some type of happiness in having a specific vehicle, or are we just worried about having a safe and reliable and roadworthy vehicle? So it's like being the gift of neutrality wants to come through as getting very clear and honing in on our particular values within the vision that we're manifesting, so that the better alignment of our energy with the situation, so that things can hook up like the lock in a combination keypad. It can't go if it's not the right code. And so that was coming through. The next one that was coming through for several people was this unexplained wonder card. And it says magical blessings and miracles are occurring in your life. All your prayers are answered now. And so sometimes it's talking about how if we remain neutral and not stuck in all of the what's wrong with the situation or what's wrong with the world and what we should be afraid of or angry about, then we can open ourselves to the gifts of every moment. So there's never nothing to be happy about. And so this is talking about the magic that happens below the surface, particularly when we can identify what we really want in a situation. Do we really want to argue, or are we trying to change someone's perspective? Because arguing somebody around rarely works as a strategy. And so this unexplained wonder card, it can go so many layers too. Like if you want belonging, then the thing that you probably shouldn't do is be fake, right? Because we're talking about alignment and the things that matter to us. And so our magical blessings surround us more easily when we're in the receiving mode instead of the struggling and the combative and the power and control dynamics of who's right, who's wrong. And the power of the news and the media and the marketers to control the algorithms right now is at an unprecedented high. It's indisputable because things that are going on now haven't been going on in the past. Oh, I'm getting a little smoked out here, but let's just take a break there. Thank you, Sage. So moving right along, the next card that came out for several signs was 35. Help appears in various ways. And exactly, like, people are always helping us to understand what we do and we don't value, what we do and we don't believe in. And in that way, they're helping us to figure out what we prefer. And so they're doing us a great service by being different, because then they're not wearing a big mask, or, if they are, then we can decide for ourselves whether we like the looks of those masks or not. And so there's a lot of support coming in for you. Sometimes you might get so adrift that you forget to look to your support systems, those that are with you continually. So again, with giving our attention where it's deserved, instead of staring for hours into the doom box that we're scrolling on. Yeah, there's a few other cards. So 46 kept coming through for several signs. Facing your fears. I feel like that's why this neutrality is so essential. It's because the powers that be, the algorithms, one of the things that is so easy to engage the emotional investment of the viewer is something that they care deeply about. And so sensational, rage bait, content that looks like we're gonna see a beautiful person, for instance, so that I can just use my words intentionally, and so on. You get the meaning. So the optics of things are drawing us in, and it's like this kind of parasitic, I want to call it a demon in the moment, which I'm using intentionally as the lower mind, the fear-based maneuvering instead of our authentic alignment, choosing for us where we want to go, what we want to do, and the magic that is there for us to engage with. Facing the fears and moving through that. And then we've got 47, connect to source. Brilliant. So what do we do when we don't want to keep looking at the world that's burning around us? We stop telling ourselves that the world is burning around us, and we give our attention to the magic. And that isn't to say that you're just going to sit there in the burning house or the sinking ship. That's not what we're doing here. We're not here to spiritually bypass or to gloss things over or to ignore things that demand a response. But we're also not doing anyone a service when all we're doing is staying saturated in that vibration and putting that out there for everyone else. So we need to be very diligent and committed to conveying our meaning. Reflect on the way that you're communicating with others and with yourself, the things that you're engaged with. We'll get to that in a moment. Be sure to express your thoughts and feelings from your heart and with respect and sincerity. Yesterday's reading and some others are still uploading, if you can believe it. I'm on my third day since things are catching up on my YouTube. I don't know if my Wi-Fi is slow or what's going on, but some of the message that should be uploaded by the time that you see this content are talking about so many of these things and pressing through this emotional clickbait to reclaim our energy and our power from the algorithm, because now that we're moving very quickly down the other side of the hill into the early stages of Aquarius in many people's minds and in my thoughts, it's like we've got different enemies, so to speak, frenemies, if you will. And so the old things from our past are starting to give way, and things that we have been struggling with are in the ends of their time in the limelight, and new things are coming in. And so we can't keep declaring who the future threats are based on the past, right? Because the past is not necessarily fully indicative of the future. What we need to give more attention to is our present moment. What is around us? What do we love? Where are we putting our energy? Why are we doing the things that we're doing? Why do we commute to a job that we're not in alignment with for some of us? Find your why, find your reason, find your alignment, and seek for that. Speak from that place. Because the thing that I wanted to say here is, like, the way that we communicate with others and with ourselves, often many of us here will already be working on this and aware of this habit pattern from early childhood, whether it was early examples, authority figures, our own cosmology and our own choices and shadow and light sides, kind of seeking to tug on the wheel of the ship and point us in various directions. Um, it's like through habits of the past, the brain not only becomes I want to say neurodependent upon these self-fulfilling prophecies with evidence of our past. And then it's like the observer bias, which is the message that's also uploading right now from yesterday or the day before. And it's talking about how we are biased because we're observing a specific content. And I'm going to probably be an equal opportunity aggravator here to speak just one other main thing into existence here. As somebody who listens to the higher perspective as my choice and then puts it through the filter of self, I will give you the caveat that this is still my perspective, but it's been revealed to me through my spiritual messaging centers that we're sort of addicted to these old habit patterns, and people are being energetically hijacked to act in ways that are out of alignment with what their authentic center is. And that's how we keep getting so many good people on the wrong side of history that keep thinking that they're doing the best, but they're not doing the best. And so we need to understand the basis where everybody's coming from in order to reach them. Otherwise, we're just wasting our energy. And so it's like both sides of different arguments will have a seed of truth. And the truth that comes from the individual observer's bias. And we can't overcome the biases of another without demonstrating behavior changes in ourselves. Eureka. And we know this. But when we look out into the world, we see so many people out there still arguing about not arguing, for instance, one of the things I saw recently. And so it takes us to hopefully potentially be the emotionally intelligent adult in the room, on the forum, in the meeting, so to speak, to break through the animosity, to split the consciousness waters and part the sea, and being with that higher consciousness, that piercing sound of the universe card that keeps coming through to convey the meaning. It's like sometimes we have to, even when there's like a heckler that comes our way, in order to convey our meaning, we can see how it relates to them, but we can come at them with guns blazing, so to speak, as the saying goes. But to convey our meaning, it's like we have to meet them where they are. We have to show them how their bias is affecting them, perhaps, or something else, but to reflect upon the way that our unique communication patterns are either assisting or complicating and completely annihilating any ability for us to unify. Because there are so many people out here so cockily celebrating all the animosity and like here with popcorn, I'm here for the comments section. Are you? That's how you choose to spend your vibe? I mean, sometimes there's a time and a place for everything, and those things can help us to be entertained. But at the end of the day, it's just another fear algorithm, and there's a lot of help that we could do if we could just speak about something in the moment. So, all right, that was the initial tangent here. So, those cards just wanted to step forward. I know that it's different situations happening for everybody, but the initial message was really about that gift of neutrality and not allowing our energetic, emotional centers to be hijacked and remaining true to our center. And so we need to possibly abstain from some lower vibrational environments or pursuits, or like maybe you want to go on a detox and not do your whatever you do that is your guilty pleasure. Romantic love is the first one that comes out. So this also is a message that's on there pending in the videos, and it's talking about how the previous days it was about how our romantic interactions are shifting and changing with this shift in awareness of compassion for self and other as we change our ideas and beliefs about things. Soul star chakra merging with the divine, stepping through. Exactly. I think you're stepping through your reservations, as far as like maybe you're somebody who doesn't like to participate in the drama, and so you just avoid it and you just keep moving. But now you're like, well, I got to say something, but you're not going to be like the other people. You're going to say something different. And so if you can do it in the right way here with that neutrally unbiased observer, the omniscient observer, then you can understand how to speak to the highest in other individuals instead of just continuing to be on one side or another, or to make everybody ticked off. It's like sometimes I think that we all have the potential to really shut things down with some simple little spice that we can add to anyone's alchemical interaction online, for instance. Coherence, exactly. That one came out with Romantic Love yesterday. Understanding the assignment. Yes, please. The frequency of coherence supports our ability to harmonize the frequency of the heart with the frequency of the mind for an optimal ability to create the reality that we desire. So it's harder to reach the flies with vinegar than with honey, right? And so it's also harder to reach the biased observer, because we're all biased observers, we must admit. It's harder to reach them with cognitive dissonance, like I'm demanding that you question your beliefs and that you believe me when I say you're an awful person, because this person's never going to believe you because they have such thick constructs protecting their self and their sense of identity, their choices and their path. They know beyond a shadow of a doubt, many of them, that they love other individuals and that they pray for things. And so they think that they are on the right side of things. And so now we get crown chakra with ether, the seamless, unspeakable, and universal love. So yeah, be a conduit of love. It's like I'm getting that Nako and Medicine for the People lyric. Don't be selfish with all that love anyway. It's like we're out here being so loving. It's almost a privilege that many of us have when nobody's barking up our tree, but other people are literally kind of stuck in the mud here with this mentality that they can't escape, even though they hate to fight. they're fighting to win something that doesn't exist from the beginning, but we've been led to believe that there's something to lose. Emergence. Yeah, I think that you're coming out of your cocoon here, because with this seamless unspeakable, you have some shit to say. It's like you're walking in and you're like, excuse me, folks. Shut the F up. So, all right. Well, maybe with a little more grace would be advisable, right? But it depends on your situation. I'm just trying to be humorous and diffuse the energy of the situation, because I was hearing also in the pre-messages, and I see one of the cards that's down here is the miracle card. I was thinking of something earlier about, like, it is ludicrous, even though it's not really humorous, the way that the world is. And yesterday's big message was, people don't know how to disagree anymore. And the day before that, it was something along the lines of, I forget in the moment. So Miracle lands face up, covered by a stack of cards. So let's see. Under here is a transformation, and what's that? Dang, authority, right? You're bringing your spiritual authority to the table in order to diffuse a situation, to transcend, and to offer people some type of a energetic bridge in order to diffuse their own emotional hyperactivity that's been hijacked. They don't want to do this fighting either. I think at the end of the day, and miracle here. So you're able to move in and take the air out of the room just by the most simple, timeless, poetic, wordless artistry sometimes. So, all right, this stack has, some beauties. So, okay, let's start out with the extra chakras. We've also got third eye chakra with throat chakra. I knew throat chakra was going to be coming out with that. Ether, seamless, unspeakable. You're putting the unspeakable into words in a different way, so that when somebody thinks, well, that doesn't have anything to do with me, you say, but we're all human here, are we not? And then all of a sudden they're like, dang, yeah, okay, yeah, maybe I need to take a step back and reevaluate my own self, right? And not be what I'm pointing at. So trust your innocence to be able to walk fearlessly into the room. I'm seeing this image from, I think it's a Pixar film, Brave, the kids film animated. And the mom is like walking through the room in complete stoic silence when everybody's brawling and carrying on. And all of a sudden everybody's like pausing in mid punch because the lady's in the room, and they're like, woof. Everybody stands at attention when you speak this way, and when you come through parting the waters, quite literally. And later in the movie, that character's daughter takes a page out of mom's book, and she walks with her head held high, and she parts the waters of people again, and she takes her place. And so there's something about, don't be intimidated to speak your truth, because you have a very pure and divine message to convey, whether it's wordless or otherwise, because it looks like there's a lot of speech and belief that can create miracle breakthroughs for yourself and others. And it's helping you to really be seen for who and how you are too in some situation, and to create, again, this paradigm shift with all the sucking the air out of the room. And then when you speak, you blow that love energy straight back in the room with the piercing sound of the trumpets. Dang, I was remembering just now that it is supposedly around this time is going to be some type of rapture day for many. So happy rapture day to everyone who evaporates today. I'm being super facetious. I don't mean to be derogatory, but it's so fun sometimes. I don't mean to be unkind, though. I literally do not. Furred and feathered friends. I feel like your best friend is nature. You spend more time around your animals and your guides and your spiritual connection and practice in the natural world than many other individuals do. And so within your community, you represent this larger than life persona, potent, fully embodied and aligned in ways that others cannot fathom. And so when you walk in, you do take the air out of the room, and suddenly people are like, dang, that was something super simple but super profound. And it has the impact of like, there's nothing in it for you, and so they can trust you. So you're like all of a sudden the one that is deferred to. And I'm seeing so many things here about then the way that you see people with this angelic rendition with those eyes on the multi wings here. It is like that trumpet blowing moment of Gabriel calling judgment upon the community in the softest, most beautiful way that you can muster, because you bring all this beauty and abundance to the table. Look at all this abundance just laid at your feet. And so it's almost like giving that you are some kind of embodiment of an earth angel or something such as that, versus the demonic influences that have struggled to hijack the consciousness and emotional energetic algorithms of those in your midst. And so you're able to shine this beautiful divine sacred light out into the situation, and see how up here this is this new formation. It's like you may be also working with Metatron and conveying your meaning, speaking it into being. And again, with a previous message from a few days ago, it started out a 3-part series with abracadabra. And so you're bringing people back to understanding the magic within the situation, because this paradigm shift, and don't forget too that we have this unexplained wonder that was pulled forward with this miracle card. So your belief in magic and your ability to speak it into form in whatever way. Oh, seriously, still with the gifted card on the bottom. You have a lot of psychic, spiritual gifts, and you can transform situations with your spiritual authority. Yeah, and heart chakra here unfurling back into love and healing below that. Yeah, so there we go. Radical expansion. As you unfurl back into love, you're inviting others to unfold and to soften and to be more loving and to reflect at how this is my neighbor. This is my kin. You know, we're all, what is that? We two are sacred breath made of bone and smoke. Yeah, we two are sacred breath made of bone and smoke is how that lyric goes, using your intuition here. Because yeah, you're seeing the whole world as yourself. And so staying apart from it doesn't make sense anymore. You've already done your time, and Spirit's doing this promotion of many people's gifts and forcing some people front and center into a situation because you have the necessary blueprint to unlock the combination to transform the situations. Return of Spirit. Yes, you're bringing that innate magic forward, and it's this lover archetypal energy that keeps talking through the cards the last few days. So yeah, it makes me want to grab for the archetypal deck, but let's just yeah, sacred knowledge about how to love each other appropriately, how to act right, how to care for the earth and its inhabitants. So there's a lot of sacredness about the way that you do and do not engage your sacred energy. And by withholding and being very selective with your Kundalini sacred energy, you hold a ton of potent energy by keeping that sacred knowledge within yourself. Your Sacred seeds of knowledge and wisdom. So are we talking also about the apple or the tree? Chicken or the egg? We've got a chicken, a rooster down here. I always see the roosters. And I'm hearing Alice in Chains. There's a big shift coming in. So, all right, we're already at the end of the video. Let's see if we can get some archetypal cards to help anybody out that would like some further energies. Like, how are you playing into this dynamic with and amongst your community or your people, your family, friends, whatever, trying to bring this return of decorum and sacredness to your life and your surroundings. Yeah, there's something only you can do, something only you can think, something only you can feel into beingness, and you're adding this as your sacred spice to the situation. All right, so yeah, okay, dang. Look at this boxed thinking here. And what comes up is so profound here. I haven't seen them all. So we've got this destroyer energy, destroying demons, demon slayer energy, destroying the illusions and delusions that somebody is winning by defeating people's sense of self, or annihilating others' identity, and attacking the messenger instead of just moving along type things. But then we've got this sticky web of Thanatos too. I wouldn't mind reading that one, but it's talking a lot about the time and the continuum and how things radiate and catch us up in our situation. And so it's like time to clear out the cobwebs here about and destroy our own inner demons in the way that we participate with these things, and or how we resist our magic and letting it be seen, because we are this star-born identity here. And that's so gorgeous. Somebody is seeking you, because this is the reflection of the Hunter card. They're seeking your light. And so you flowing with things and flowing with how you would naturally handle this situation is allowing your reflection to be seen in the community here. Yes, agape and shaman, so gorgeous. Agape love is like unconditional, divine, universal, Christed energy here for some. And your ability to bring that in a situation is this shamanic deep dive that allows people to traverse the darkness that we were talking about from the beginning, the darkness upon darkness, to see their way out of the box into that light. So there's others in the community afraid to use their voice, not as confident or courageous or wordy or as driven and direct and embodied as yourself. And so there's something about the way that you are dropping these little star-born pearls and gems all over your existence, that you are actually helping others to shed their skin and to come back to their own magic and momentum and have this transformation